All right, thanks for those of you who have already joined us. We're just going to give a few people a few more minutes and then we'll get started. While you guys are waiting, if you want to use the chat box on the right throughout this whole webinar for questions, we have someone standing by to help answer those. But also right now, if you want to share with us where you're tuning in from, that's always fun for us to see. All right, so it looks like we've got coaches kind of from all over. We've got a few from Texas, one from Ohio, one out in New York, and a few more from Minnesota. And in case you guys didn't know, we're actually located in Minnesota as well, so that's pretty cool. So again, we'll just start in about 60 seconds. Just a reminder that part of your guys' participation in this webinar is that access to $250 off of future purchase of a Dr. Dish. All right, so we are going to get started. Welcome to the Dr. Dish Maximize Your Preseason webinar. My name is Emily. I work in customer success here at Dr. Dish. Just a quick recap. What we are going to go over today is TMS and Skill Builder, which is our online and app-based training management system that you get free access to with the purchase of either of our Dr. Dish Smart models, which would be the Pro or the All-Star. Joining me today is also Coach Mason, who many of you may know.
Hey coaches, thanks for joining us today. As a former college and professional player and now trainer and coach, I know how valuable Dr. Dish Training Management System and Skill Builder can be for coaches. Today we plan on not only showing you the basics of our training management system, but also how it can benefit you in the off season. So thanks again for joining us here today.
Thanks, Jefferson. Yeah, and I always tell coaches that I talk to, but also somebody like Jefferson who's a player and also a coach, the whole reason that we kind of invented or introduced TMS is because of players and coaches like him who kind of realized that there is a gap in player development. So we wanted to make, that easier. So Coach Mason, what are some challenges that you face when getting the most out of your players?
That's a great question, Emily. For me, one of the biggest challenges I have is developing complete players. Oftentimes you have players that will come into your system as a coach or even into your gym as a trainer that are good at, maybe one or two different things. That's, rebounding or scoring or passing or dribbling. But very rarely do you have players that will come in that are well-rounded in every single skill. So my job as a coach and a trainer is to help develop them so that they can reach their maximum potential, and oftentimes that definitely can be a challenge.
Yeah, and we hear that all the time. So with that, we're going to pull up our first poll, which is asking you guys, what is the biggest challenge that you work to overcome?
So some of our options on there are lack of time. Coaches, we know that some of you are teachers, you have other jobs, you have families, you have a lot of things to do. So sometimes just the sheer lack of time can be difficult. Keeping players accountable is another big one. I know playing high school and college basketball, oftentimes I had a packet given to me that I had to fill up on my own on the honor code that I didn't always tell the truth on. So holding players accountable is a huge one. Developing complete players, like I mentioned, is huge. And then creating player buy-in, tracking player progress over the course of the season or the off season, and then also just that excitement piece too with that buy-in, getting players in the gym wanting to get better every single day. So coaches, we'd really love to hear on some of the challenges you've had to overcome. So please go ahead and vote on the one that resonates most with you.
Mm-hmm. And if you feel like we really missed the ball on any of these four, you have one to add in, again, feel free to use that chat, and we'll kind of share what those responses are. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. And I'm going to share those results with you guys so you can all see it. So it looks like lack of time was a pretty popular one. And we hear that a lot as well, because I know a lot of coaches are juggling not only coaching but teaching and a family and all that good stuff. So what you'll see is that TMS and Skill Builder and a lot of what Dr. Dish has to offer kind of can help with all four of these challenges that you guys face. All right. So with that, should we get started?
Yeah, let's definitely do it.
Okay. Just going to pull up our training management system site. So this is what it's going to look like when you guys get logged in. I'm going to kind of skip over the process for getting invited, but if you own a Dr. Dish and you haven't been asked if you want to create your TMS profile yet, feel free to reach out to us after this webinar. My name is Emily, and that's kind of like my job here. So once you get logged in, this is what your home screen will look like. But the first thing that you're going to be prompted to do is to create a team. So I'm going to show you guys how you're going to add a team. In this case, I'm going to call my team the Pipers. Add team. So now I'm adding my team members, and this is where you can add players, but also assistant coaches. So I'm going to add in Jessica, and I need her email. In this case, I'm just going to put in mine. Phone number is optional. Jersey number is for fun, so she's going to be number 8. And then role, this is what I was saying, this is important. So players and coaches have a little bit different permissions, so just make sure that you kind of select that accordingly. And Jessica is a small forward. So by hitting that save profile, I could continue to add in the rest of my team members, but at this point, for the sake of time, let's just add Jessica. So continue to invite. I can customize this message if I want, but I'm going to go ahead and just send that invite. And Jessica is going to get an email to her inbox that's going to ask her to create her profile similar to how you guys would, and then she's going to have the ability to log into the app in TMS as well as a player.
So quick question for you, Emily. How many teams are we able to create right now in our training management system?
At this point, up to 10. So you can see on my profile, I've got 4 teams, but I am more than available or to create another 6 if I wanted.
Definitely. And then how many players can we have on each one of those teams?
All right. So it seems like we might be having some issues with audio. Can anybody hear us?
If you can hear us, please type in the chat box that the audio is working for you. Okay. Well, for those that can't hear us, what we'll do is we'll try to work on a solution. Just kind of keep chatting in that chat box. It might be something with your dial-in or potentially if you have your mute on. We're going to continue forward with the webinar now because we do have some people that have confirmed that they've heard us. So we'll go ahead and dive into the home page and explaining that.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So I'm going to go into the Dr. Dish office team. But as you can see, the Pipers team is the one that I just created. But none of my players have accepted the invite, and none of them have shot on the dish and saved any stats. So that's why you're not seeing anything. So I'm going to click into the Dr. Dish office team and show you what a full team roster with stats looks like. So this overview screen here is kind of like what we like to call the sexy part of the TMS. So it gives you a really robust overview of your team's performance on the dish. So you're going to see how many total shots have been taken. You can see the shooting percentage broken down by type. You can even see your shooting trends, and then that can even be filtered by, the last 7 days, the last 30 days, or a custom range. So we're going to keep that at 60 days. Leaderboard is going to show you who on your team is shooting at the highest percentage. And then my favorite part is the heat map, because it really breaks down your shooting from certain locations. And even more cool is that you can break it down by player. So I want to know how, I want to know how just Anthony is shooting. And what you can see is this is just Anthony's heat map. So Anthony himself has gotten up over 800 shots in the last 60 days, which isn't overly impressive, but he's shooting at a pretty high percentage. So that just kind of shows you how robust this view is and how you can keep diving deeper. I'm just going to go back. And these are the 4 important toggles at the top. So leaderboard, again, shows you kind of how all of your players are performing. Activity will show you the activity on your machine and what the player actually did. And then roster just shows your entire roster. If you wanted to edit any player info, add another player or another coach, that's where you would do this.
Now, coaches, this is very, very robust and a lot of information on here. Remember, you can take this information and you can really see the strengths and weaknesses of your players. You can also start to really see where players shoot the basketball well, and depending on your systems and the things that you run, you can place the right players where they need to be successful. And then also with that, you're challenging players to get in the gym, and you can see that immediate feedback from what they're doing when they're working out. So what we'll do now, after looking through all the stats, we're going to actually talk about the different workouts that we provide, and then we'll get into kind of our skill builder and creating workouts after that. So clicking into this workout page, as you can see right off the bat, we have our Dr. Dish workouts, we have our My Workouts folder, and then our assignments. We're going to go through each one of these, but the first one I want to really focus in on is the Dr. Dish workout. So we'll go ahead and select into there. Now, we have over 65 different workouts in here right now. Every week, we're adding more and more different workouts. And if you check out any of our YouTube videos, we have a lot of cool things online that go hand in hand with these workouts as well. But with each one of these workouts, these are already pre-made, pre-designed. Your players can simply, with their mobile app, walk up to the dish and push one of these workouts through Bluetooth and their mobile app to the machine. And then they can work out and do all these pre-made, pre-programmed ones for it. Once they finish up, all those stats will be sent to you guys as well. Now, the cool thing about it is all of these workouts range in, different difficulty and also contain different skills that are worked on. So some of these are focused on mostly shooting, some will be focused on strength and conditioning, some will be focused on ball handling. Feel free to scroll through these workouts in your free time and really see which one of these workouts can help your players. So if we click back into the workouts tab, one thing you'll notice at the very top is our premier trainers. Now, at Dr. Dish Basketball, we're extremely fortunate to have some of the best in the world jump on board and be part of our family. Guys like Drew Hanlon and DJ Sackman and Jordan Lawley are training some of the best NBA players, WNBA players, European talent, and high school players all around the country. Now, working with these guys, we were very, very fortunate to be able to put together complete workouts that focus on individual moves, multi-cut sets, a lot of different cool things that coaches and trainers, you guys can take full advantage of. So what we're going to do actually is just take a dive deeper into Drew Hanlon's workouts. So we'll click into there. Now, we have about 6 or 7 on here right now, but one of my favorite workouts from him is a between the legs trigger step hezzy. Now, I like this one because I did this move as a professional myself, and it worked out great. But this is a great way for your players to really focus on that individual skill set here. So as you can see, this is a complete workout that's already built out for the players. Now focus on the shooting, the ball handling, the free throws, and all that good stuff. Now, if we look at the attributes on the top part, you can see that there's a description in there of what the player is going to be doing in each one of these drills. Now, every single time they hit that drill goal, they'll go immediately into the next drill without having to touch the dish, without having to do anything like that. The other cool thing is if we go and click on one of our shooting drills or our ball handling drills, there's also a watch drill video link there. So we actually have Drew Hanlon and DJ Sackman and these guys live in a YouTube video at your fingertips, explaining piece by piece, move by move, step by step, how to execute this move. Right, so this is just like those pro tips being handed and being right inside of your gym. So it's a really cool feature that we wanted to bring to all of our customers. And once again, this access is free to everybody, these premier workouts. So what we'll do next is we'll click out, and then we'll talk a little bit about my workouts and assignments. My workouts are essentially the workouts that you've created through Skill Builder, and we're going to get into building that here in a second. And we'll also talk about assigning these workouts in that folder as well. So, with this, Emily, I know for me as a player, I like to do a lot of different workouts, moving all around the place and whatnot. What's a drill that you like to do when you played college basketball or when you were practicing with your team?
Mm-hmm. Well, a drill that our coach would actually run us through a lot, but also as a player, I like to do by myself because not only did it work on getting a lot of game-like shots, I had to work on my footwork, but it also got my heart rate up, and that was 5-star shooting.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. What we'll do actually is we'll build that out here right now. Now, the cool thing with our system is you're able to create these complete workouts and build all of these different drills based around your players and your system. So we'll go ahead and click into Skill Builder. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do when creating this workout that you can share to your players is name the workout. So for this one, we'll do 5-star shooting, since that's one of the ones that Emily liked to do as a player herself. We'll select the level of it, whether it's beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And then, once again, the number of players and then where we want the dish. Now, the cool thing with our system is if you have an all-star model, you're actually able to move the machine and swivel the net and practice and create drills with the dish away from the hoop. So if you have post players, if you have some game location stuff that you want to do, you can move the dish all around the court, and you can select that here so that you can design the workouts properly for that. So we're going to keep it underneath the hoop for this one and then hit. All right, so now we get to that first drill. Now the first thing we're going to do is our 5-star three-point shooting. Okay, now in our drill description, we want to tell the player exactly what they'll be doing, and you can be as descriptive in this as they want to be. All right, if your players don't know it's a drill that you haven't done, make sure to let them know. They'll be able to see that on their mobile app. So for this one, they'll be running in the 5-star pattern. Now the drill type is going to be where the dish tracks the shooting percentage. So for this one, we're shooting three-pointers, so we want to make sure we select the right one before we hit continue. Now, as we move on, our drill goal is extremely important, and this is one of the coolest things with our system. Before the player can move on to the next drill in the workout, they must hit a goal that you select. So made is the first one that we have highlighted right now, which essentially means total amount of shots made. It doesn't matter what location you're doing it, it's just the total amount. Taken is the opposite of that. Obviously, you're getting players get a certain amount of shots up, whether they make or miss those shots. Timed is another big goal. If you have players that only have 30 minutes or 45 minutes before class or after school and you want to design workouts that will end specifically at that time, you can do that as well with our system. And then make it mode is another cool one that colleges and pro teams are absolutely loving right now. It essentially means making a certain amount of shots at one location before you move on to the next. And then the last one is streak mode. It speaks for itself. You have to hit a certain amount of shots in a row before moving on. And obviously that's really, really challenging. We're going to keep it at the made mode because for the 5-star that makes the most sense. And we'll go ahead and hit continue. Now here's where we're going to select our locations on the court for where the dish will make the pass. So the first, we're running the 5-star pattern. So obviously we're going to start in the corner. We're going to go from corner to the wing, back to the opposite wing, to the corner, and then back to the top. Now, one thing I want you to notice is the numbers on each one of these locations. This is the order in which the player is going to run. Now, cool thing with our shooting machines and our system, we're the only ones in the world that you can customize location. Older, traditional machines can only go on that sprinkler pattern, which isn't necessarily game-like. For our systems, you can select locations out of order and get your players moving all around the court. So once we hit our selections, we want to go ahead and hit continue to move on to our next stage, which will be our attributes. Now for this, we want to select the amount of balls that will be coming per location. So in the 5-star, we're moving, we'll keep one ball. Tempo is a big one. The lower the number, the faster the passes are going to come, the faster the person is going to, or the player is going to be running. So make sure you select that accordingly to your player skill level. And then obviously our goal, amount of shots we want to make. So we'll go ahead and keep that at 20. Another thing to note too is we have that drill video there. So coaches, if you guys already have pre-recorded practices or drills that you've run before, you can actually incorporate a YouTube video of your own sets in there for the player to watch on their mobile app. So if they're going to go through a drill that you guys do in practice during the off season, they can actually watch that on their phone as well. So we'll go ahead and hit continue and add another drill. Now remember, with Skill Builder, you can add more than just shooting drills. This is complete workout. So we're actually going to add in a ball handling drill next. So with ball handling, we select that. It'll automatically populate dribble in the drill name. And once again, coaches, that's going to pop up on the front of the machine to let the player know exactly what they're doing. In this one, we're going to do our triple moves. So in the drill description, once again, you can put in whatever you want, but for this, we'll do triple moves, and then we'll hit continue. Now, our drill goal in this ball handling will be based on time, so we want to select the amount of time we want the player to go. So for this one, we'll have them go for 120 seconds, which is 2 minutes, get the blood flowing, get them working, and then we'll hit add another drill. Now, as soon as that time goal hits that 120 seconds, they're going to transition once again into their next shooting drill, which will be our 5-star 2-point shooting this time. So we worked on our 3-point shooting. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to work from inside the arc. So once again, we'll put that drill description in there. We'll make sure that our drill type is selected at 2-point shot so the dish can track properly, and we'll hit continue. We'll keep made as our drill goal once again, hit continue, and then we'll select our locations in the highlighted area inside the 3-point line. So once again, corner, wing, wing, corner, top. And then one other thing that I want to highlight here is our passing loop. So right now, the passing loop is set to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start back in that corner at spot number 1. If I was to hit toggle, what would happen now is it would go in reverse order. So the player would shoot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they would come back 4, 3, 2, 1, and then repeat. So it's another way just to design and customize your workouts and also challenge your players as well. So we'll hit continue and adjust our attributes like we did on the first one. Once we figure those out, we'll hit continue and add another drill. And for our last drill, just to, we don't want to keep you here too long, we'll add in our free throw. So we'll go ahead and select free throws and type in our drill name. Once again, this will populate on the front of the dish to let the player know. And for this one, we're going to make 10 free throws in a row. All right, so we're going to challenge the player to make shots while they're tired. We'll hit continue, and then we'll hit streak mode because that's the goal that we're setting. Now, the dish will hold the player accountable. If they make 9 free throws and miss that last one, they're just going to start right back over at 0 until they make 10 in a row. So this is a really cool way to challenge your players. We'll hit continue. I usually set the tempo at 7 for free throws because it gives the players enough time to do their routine and they're not rushing through it. And then once again, our goal will be 10 made free throws. We'll hit save drill now. And once we hit save drill, we're going to be brought out to an overview of the workout we just created. So once again, we have 4 different drills, our 5-star 3-point shooting, our ball handling, our 5-star 2-point, and then our free throws while we're tired. Now, once again, the dish will transition from each one of these drills, all right, without programming, without anything, after the player pushes this workout. But what we're going to talk about right now is how to assign this workout after I've created it to one of my players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's say I'm Coach Jefferson and I want to assign it to just 5 people on my team. So you would always, you can click into any workouts, whether it's one you built or one that we already have built in there, and you're going to locate this assign workout button. It's going to pull up your entire roster. In this case, like I said, I want to assign it to 5 people. So I'm going to choose those 5 players that I want. And I always got to click on this Edit Selected Assignments button. And right now, I'm selecting the date range that I want to assign these players this drill. So default is going to be that it assigns today, and it never expires from that assignments folder. But if I want them to only have it for, let's say, 1 week, so I'm going to assign it today, and I'm going to have it expire on the 30th, and maybe I send all my players a text that say, I want you to complete this drill 5 times. and by hitting save, it's going to funnel into their assignments folder.
Now, once it gets into their assignments folder, the player will be able to view that on their mobile app. They'll be able to view that on their desktop as well. All right. And after they do that, they can head to the gym and using their phone and their mobile app, they'll simply select that workout. They'll slide through each one of those drills that they need to do. If there's a video attached to it, they can watch it. If there's a description on each one of those drills, they can read through it. After that, they'll simply connect via Bluetooth. They'll hit push workout, and then after that, they just need to concentrate on making shots and working hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's awesome. And as a player, we had a shooting machine, but we didn't have the Dr. Dish. And just looking back, I wish that I would have had this kind of accountability, but also just kind of at my fingertips. So I go into the gym, and instead of me kind of plugging in on the machine what I want to do, the ability for me to pull up my phone and push it directly to the machine, have it save my stats, and then also kind of be able for me to have those stats funnel back to my coach so that maybe I get praise the next day at practice, like, hey, great shooting. That was something that I really missed out on.
Yeah, so for this, what we'll do is we're going to pull up our next poll, and it talks a little bit about analytics. So coaches, we just want to know, how often do you use off-season analytics and stat tracking to gauge player skill development? So please vote on the one that resonates or makes the most sense for you. We're really curious to hear kind of what you guys think with that. And one other thing too, coaches, using analytics and stat tracking has become huge in the NBA over the years. Teams like the Heat and the Warriors are definitely leading the way in this category. It's become routine when preparing for opponents and making improvements throughout the season. And the latest trends have been training programs that are rooted in player-specific stat tracking and analytics.
So I'm going to go ahead and close this poll and then share these responses with you guys. So as you can see, there's not many coaches or parents or players out there right now that are always using stat tracking. Sometimes it's pretty good, but more than often we see that a lot of programs they don't have the ability to use stat tracking at all because maybe there's only one of them or there's an assistant coach, and like we've touched on before, you guys have a ton on your plate. So we just kind of want to hammer home that TMS and Dr. Dish can kind of be like another coach or a magical coach or a superhero coach for you guys, and that's kind of what we're all about, is trying to make your guys' lives easier to improve your program.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're knowing how your players are progressing and how their skill is developing over time, you give yourself an opportunity to help each player reach their maximum potential. We know that it's a blessing when you have a player that comes in at 6'4", 6'5", or maybe 6'7", 6'8", that's a freak athlete that can help carry your team. But most of the time, coaches, you got to develop the young players. You got to develop the talent that you have. And if you can get the most out of your players, you're going to have a successful team. And our systems will help with that. We provide the workouts, we provide the stat tracking, we provide the accountability, and we provide the reps. And not only that, coaches, your players will be extremely excited to get into the gym, to try new things, and to get better every single day.
And with that, that's all we got for today. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I know we kind of went through things quickly, so if you have any questions about TMS specifically, you can feel free to give me a call. My direct line is on the screen, also my email. And then for anybody that doesn't have a dish, but you're kind of wondering what are the different models and what are those price ranges, what are our current promotions, feel free to reach out to our sales team and they will get you guys a quote in hand. But thank you guys again so much for joining us. We're going to just hang out for a little bit longer, but feel free to hop on or use chat or reach out to us.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate your time. Take care.